Kinchu here. Frost. This bone-chilling frame is one of the oldest and amongst the most played frames. When it comes to defending an objective, Frost has no rivals. His skill set rivals even the crowd control king. Although Frost is mostly picked for defensive play, he's also capable of delivering a wave of aggression to the battlefield. His abilities completely strip enemies of their defense, leaving them exposed to head-on full-force attacks. Mostly known for his snowglobe ability, Frost is often overlooked as an aggressive frontliner. In this video, I'll show you the build I used for Frost that has very high power strength, allowing Avalanche to strip off enemy armor completely, as well as high survivability, allowing you to have high energy recovery and high sustain for frequent power usage without external assistance. This is Crippling Hailstorm Frost. When it comes to effective health, Frost is near the top of all frames, just between Chroma and Rhino Prime, which respectively are very tanky frames. Having 300 base armor, which provides him 50% damage reduction, allows him to take quite a few hits before going down. Emphasizing on that, Arcane Guardian will be a great substitute for Steel Fiber. One set will provide 60% extra armor, and having 2 sets on will be equal of having a Steel Fiber equipped. Frost's high base armor and this exchange frees up a mod slot, which opens up many more options for the build. This build synergizes with Arcanes, and with the provided armor bonus from Arcane Guardian, you're able to free up a mod slot in exchange for better survivability and the possibility of modding Frost with high power strength, yet leaving in sustainability and energy recovery. Energy Siphon for Aura. Handspring in the Exile slot. Knockdown recovery takes a very long time, and not having Handspring will render survivability mods useless in high level missions. Vitality for base health. Quick Thinking and Rage in conjunction with Primed Flow for high survivability and energy sustain, allowing for frequent power usage. Streamline for better power efficiency. Stretch for higher power range, which benefits every single one of Frost's abilities. Lastly, Blind Rage and Transient Fortitude for very high power strength. This provides 254 power strength, which is enough to completely strip enemies of armor with Avalanche. Having high power strength often leads to energy problems. The only way to reliably recover energy is with Rage. However, the very high power efficiency reduction that Blind Rage has makes ability costs very high. This is why Prime Flow is necessary. Not only will you have a high energy reserve, which will allow you to always use Snowglobe or Avalanche, but it will also synergize with Quick Thinking, providing a massive effective health pool and preventing first engagement burst deaths. Using Fleeting Expertise would not be worth in this situation, simply because that would leave your power duration at an absolute minimum when paired up with Transient Fortitude. While that may not have negative side effects for Snowglobe, it completely trivializes Avalanche armor reduction, which is simply too good to pass up when high level play versus armored units. Having some power duration allows for a good window of opportunity to burst down armored units either in solo or group play. The weapon choice is up to you. Most of the time you will be fighting enemies or crowds of enemies that have their armor completely stripped, so using slash or elemental based builds which are effective against health will be very good. For this build I use Fragor Prime, which has the highest critical chance in the game, along with a high critical multiplier. Prime Pressure Point for base damage, Blood Rush and Body Count for critical combo multiplier, Organ Shatter to synergize with Blood Rush, Life Strike for regeneration, Berserker for very high attack speed, which is essential due to Fragor Prime's slow base attack speed. Lastly, Fever Strike and North Wind for viral damage. Considering that enemies will not have any armor, viral damage will be very good. As far as heavy hitting maces go, Cyber would provide viral damage with the same build, but swapping out Shocking Touch for Primed Reach would work since Cyber's base damage is cold. Primed Reach would provide much better combat flow. Most high-end melee weapons will work with this build, but high attack speed is crucial since you have to be able to quickly recover health with Life Strike. With this build, you're able to go into high-level missions. The quick thinking, rage, and prime flow synergy allows you to take a lot of damage before going down. Rage provides very high sustain, as well as allowing you to constantly use avalanche or snowglobe on the objectives. After going into a mission, you will take some damage eventually, which will allow you to use your powers initially. You can recover the damage you take with Life Strike. This build allows for either ranged or melee play. If you do have the range preference, then picking a melee weapon which has quick attack speed will allow you to recover your HP more quickly. This is why Berserker works better for more melee based play and Primed Fury works better for ranged play. Having rage on your build, like mentioned previously, allows for very high sustain. This means that you will be just as effective alone as you are in a group. Trinity with Energy Vampire or using Energy Restores is completely unnecessary as you can sustain your energy pool on your own. If you're in a bad situation or on very low health, using Snow Globe will push out any enemies near you and provide you with cover. This will allow you to switch out to a melee weapon and reposition yourself for recovery. Following up Snow Globe with an Avalanche will ensure a safe re-engagement as well, and since Avalanche strips enemy armor off completely, 1 or 2 channeled hits from your melee weapon will fully recover your health. During gameplay against Corpus, prioritizing nullifiers when playing defensive maps is important. Nullifiers that come into contact with your snow globe immediately destroy it, leaving the defense objective exposed. This aggressive playstyle allows you to get ahead and inside the fight to take out the nullifiers, cast an avalanche, and clean up the enemies afterwards. When it comes to playing versus Grineer, keeping an eye out for Grineer Scorches and Hyeka Summoners is important. Using Freeze or Avalanche will allow you to take out these units safely, while otherwise they would burst you or the defense objective down in seconds. Since you're substituting Arcane Guardian for Steel Fiber, there's not many other choices you can pick for Arcanes with this build. Getting an offensive Arcane is not necessary since Avalanche provides complete armor reduction. There are talks to add shield gating in the future, which would definitely make Frost's shield build viable, as he can get to almost 1300 shields with just redirection, which would make Arcane Barrier viable, but for now, that's not the case. Frost also has augments for all his abilities. Freeze Force, a fairly niche augment. It will work in group play and it provides skull type damage on top of players' current damage. Since you're playing in a group, there will be a possibility of swapping it out instead of Rage, assuming you have Energy Vampire Trinity in your squad. Ice Wave Impendance, a good augment when playing versus Infested but fairly irrelevant since Snow Globe covers a large area due to stretch and provides a 67% slow. It does work against assassins however, making them extremely easy to handle. Chilling Globe will provide extra crowd control for enemies which pass through the Snow Globe. This augment is good for interception missions and raids, making solo interception missions a possibility. Lastly, Icy Avalanche. While it may be pretty decent in lower level play or for very squishy frames, the amount of absorption you get from Icy Avalanche is negligible when it comes to medium and higher level play. The damage buffer you get is not affected by armor, and that makes this mod trivial in higher levels. On top of that, squishy frames have the possibility to stay inside Snow Globe as well. All of his augments except Avalanche add an extra layer of crowd control, however that is redundant since Snow Globe and Avalanche in conjunction provide more than enough crowd control unless you're playing interception or raid missions, where you can use every bit of extra crowd control you can get. Frost is a very good frame and the go-to choice when it comes to defending objectives. This build features high power strength but also has self-sustainability, allowing for frequent power use in solo or group play. Avalanche completely stripping enemies off armor allows you to clear very high level content and go on the offensive. This is Crippling Hailstorm Frost.